Good day, President Martinez and Board of Trustees. This is Patty Salzman, and this presentation will cover the proposed instructional calendar options for the 2023-2024 school year, the staff development minutes waiver, and the board resolution authorizing the superintendent to issue employee pay for inclement weather closures up to and including 5 school days during the 2023-2024 school year. Before we review the calendar options for 23-24, I want to remind you of the calendar elements for 22-23. As you're aware, we work collaboratively with the San Antonio Alliance to develop an instructional calendar that is sound and meets the needs of all stakeholders. One area of emphasis has been to implement frequent breaks, and we're able to achieve this through embedding monthly holidays. So reflected in the 22-23 calendar are Labor Day in September, Columbus or Indigenous Peoples Day in October, the week of Thanksgiving in November, 2 weeks at Christmas, Martin Luther King Jr. Day in January, President's Day in February, spring break in March, Good Friday, the Battle of Flowers in April, and Memorial Day in May. At 177 instructional days, however, there's limited time for professional development and teacher planning time during the school year. 3 of the 4 professional development days occur prior to the start of school, and 2 of the 3 teacher work days or professional time that's directed by the teachers themselves also occurs prior to the start of school. This year, as you recall, we added 2 parent-teacher conferences that occurred during the month of October. We'll start the review of the proposed calendars with a review of the new design, which has the beautiful San Antonio skyline. In addition, we've removed the reference to holidays. This avoids conflicts around the naming of holidays, such as in the case of Columbus Day versus Indigenous Peoples Day. It also avoids issues around the celebration of holidays that people believe favor one religion over another. It also makes the calendar easier to read for families and allows more room to note important dates, such as the start and end of the grading period. On the new calendars, all of them will maintain the previous holidays that we have had in the 22-23 school year. This year, we offered 3 calendars for stakeholders. All of the calendars include an increase in professional development and professional planning time. To get a better view of the calendars, you can always click on the link at the upper right hand of the screen, and the slides will open for you full-sized in your browser. So let's start with Calendar A. Calendar A attempts to provide a professional development and teacher planning day each month. These dates are indicated in aqua, and we call these 50-50 days because unlike last year when teachers received only a maximum of 2 hours of planning during professional development, the time on the 50-50 days is split equally between professional development and teacher-directed planning time. On the A calendar, the first day of school for teachers is Monday, August the 7th. The first week of school is an important time for schools, and this calendar runs a 3-2, meaning that there are 3 days of professional development and 2 days of teacher planning time. The first day of school for students is Monday, August the 14th, and the last day of school is on an early release day. The students will attend half day, and then teachers have half day to implement their closeout procedures. This calendar runs 174 instructional days, not 177. The state does not require us to run a 177-day instructional calendar. The state, however, does require that our calendars meet for at least 75,600 minutes. Although the instructional days decrease, the teacher contract does not change and remains at 187 days. By reducing the instructional days, we're able to increase professional development to 6 days and teacher planning time to 7.5. We maintain the 2 parent-teacher conferences, but instead of having them both in October, we position one in October and one in February so that we now would have, under this calendar, both a fall and spring conference. The feedback we received from the Teacher Advisory Council on this calendar and from the Alliance is that while the 50-50 days are appreciated, the breaks were not favored during November, December, or April. Teachers felt like in the spring, in the fall, our secondary teachers needed as much time with students as possible. And in April, in the spring, they felt like we should be having a very consistent calendar so that we could make sure our students are ready for testing. The Calendar B attempts to adjust the 50-50 days by placing those during the month that we do not have extended holidays or extensive testing. So this tends to front load those 50-50 days. On the B calendar, the first day of school for teachers is Monday, August the 7th. And during the critical first week back, this calendar runs a 4-2, meaning 4 days of professional development and 2 days of teacher planning time. The teacher planning time is split Friday and Monday, which is what teachers overwhelmingly have said that they prefer. So they have the weekend as well to plan, and school starts then on a Tuesday. The first day of school for students is August the 15th. The last day of school is on an early release day. And again, the students attend half day, and then teachers have a half day to implement their closeout procedures. This calendar runs 174 instructional days, although, again, the teacher contract remains the same at 187 days. This calendar provides 6.5 days for professional development and 7 days for teacher planning. Again, we maintain the 2 parent-teacher conferences, one in October and one in February. The difference here is that with the 50-50 days moving up, we have 3 weeks in October and again, 3 weeks in February where teachers have a 4-day work week. Calendar C attempts to provide more teacher planning time during their first week back and gives teachers more time to close out their classrooms. On the C calendar, the first day of school for teachers is Monday, August the 7th. During the first week back, this calendar runs a 3-3. So these days, professional development and teacher planning time are split equally, 3 for professional development and 3 for teacher planning time. The first day of school for students is Tuesday, August the 15th. The last day of school is on an early release day. However, teachers would have the following day as a full day to implement their closeout procedures. This calendar runs 173 instructional days. It provides 5.5 days of professional development and 9 days for teacher planning. We maintain, again, the 2 parent-teacher conferences, and we maintained the 50-50 during those windows. So again, in October and February, there are 3 weeks that are 4-day work weeks. This slide shows a side-by-side comparison, and you can pause on this slide to take a closer look. As of February 13th, the votes overwhelmingly indicate that Calendar C is the preferred option, garnering over 1,800 votes of the 2,644 votes cast. And this is true that it is the preferred calendar at this point in time for all stakeholder groups, including parents and the community. Voting closes on Monday, February 20th, but it appears that C is a likely contender. In order to support our instructional calendar, each year we ask the board to approve the staff development minutes waiver. Although inclement weather days are built into our calendars, and you can see them on the C calendar as February the 19th and March the 18th, the state of Texas, TEA, does allow us to apply for a staff development minutes waiver, which allows school districts to provide professional development on various strategies. And in lieu of that, we're able to use 2,100 waiver minutes towards our operational minutes on our calendar. This would mean that to calculate our overall instructional minutes, we would take the number of days in the instructional calendar. In this case, it would be 173. We would multiply it times the number of minutes in the day, and our fewest number of minutes that any school runs would be 435. Many of our schools run more minutes. We would add the 2,100 minutes for a total of 77,355 minutes at schools that have the lowest number of minutes. This would still provide us with approximately 3 buffer days for inclement weather. In addition, we're asking that the board approve a resolution that would allow the superintendent to pay employees for inclement weather closures for up to 5 days. This would allow then the superintendent to also apply for any waivers that may be released by the Texas Education Agency, and it would allow us to provide immediate feedback to staff and families regarding the inclement weather makeup days. This concludes the presentation on the calendars. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.